Come on, you can't.
Heavy!
And drop $5 as well. Come on.
Good evening. How is all? How is one? How is one? How are you?
Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome. So, let's get straight in it.
Straight into
They lied to you.
Lied to you.
They lied to you. They're always lying. You know what? The more I get into this history thing and the anthropology and the ethnology and all of it, is the more I see how much they lie. It's crazy. In fact, the lies almost throw you off the truth. How many times have I gone, hang on? No, hang on.
Yeah. Because it's always it's in plain sight, but they are very tricky and crafty with the way they word things or articulate or switch a narrative to suit them.
Well, see now, I'm seeing so much things today. I'm hearing about obviously the whole inflation thing, and that is, it's a plan. These are the things that we told you from when we told you about crypto at the beginning, and nobody wanted to listen.
Yeah. And
yeah, it's going to drop because it's almost like what they're trying to do is tighten everybody's purse strings and leave you in a place of desperation. And a lot of things we're talking about,
it's not new.
It's because of this. It's a continuous war. Every war and all the wars in between have been about the same thing. And you're going to begin to see it once you join the dots. And anyone that hasn't watched certain videos, I'd go back, because then this will make more sense to you. And we'll correlate. Yeah. And like I always say, the problem is people don't join the dots. I've always said that the Bible that a lot of us have been given, and that our creation has been founded upon,
fabrication,
is more. You cannot say that you believe every word of that Bible without also correlating it with history. I've always said it. I said that's an historic book. You just got to work out what on earth they're talking about. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you one of the things. Today, and I said it in one of our shows previously, if you remember, that Gregorian calendar is a joke thing. In short, I realised today, after going over it again, that what they did. So when we've mentioned a lot the Adamist theory, the Adamist people who said there was a. Did they say there was a creation yet before them? Which now we know. You well and knew there was, because this was all purposefully set up. You knew there was
the BC before
absolute
Christ
nonsense that they've done with this calendar.
Yeah.
And we'll put it up on the screen for you to understand. But what they did in 753 AD,
Thanks, AD.
They decided that at that point that was creation. I'll pause. Just listen to what I'm saying. And so, for reference sake, what they've put in this Gregorian calendar is at the top. They've put 1212 in that calendar. Is this in other calendars, like, let's say for argument's sake, in Japan, 1212 would be 6433, for example. In another calendar, it would be, I don't know,
423.
Just anything, right? You'll see. And so what I did in 1212, what I did was I added the 753, and it brought us to 1965. That's right?
Yes, 1965.
And so I looked at what was going on in 1965. Isn't that when Winston Churchill got the stroke and then he died? 1965. He had a stroke and then he died. Yeah.
It just doesn't. It seems.
But the point is,
Winston Churchill.
what you've got to do is,
But
what you got to understand is, these calendars and these dates correlate to times where they won something. In plain English. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so it's not the beginning of time, it's the beginning of their creation. Yeah. And their creation was everything we've been speaking about thus far. When they were talking about Adam and Eve, they were speaking about their first human. And when we typed in human, what they showed us was a picture of what? Do you remember?
Hue of, they were showing like, I think it was the Asians.
An Asian couple.
Yeah.
Right?
And they were darker skin tone.
But not as, well,
not as
maybe my skin colour, let's put it that way. But the point was,
yeah, they
classed them as creation, and we were like,
your creation.
But Adam and Eve shows you, that picture where that man and woman are touching fingers in the museum, and it's in a lot of films, was about creation. The beginning of creation. Now, if you think about everything that we've been showing you, basically it's about slavery. It was about creating the new Indian, the making the Indian white.
Whitewashing.
All of that, it was about making a new white nation.
Sasheen Littlefeather.
Hello, my name is Sasheen Littlefeather. I'm Apache, and I'm president of the National Native American Affirmative Image Committee. I'm representing Marlon Brando this evening. He very regretfully cannot accept this very generous award. And the reasons for this being are the treatment of American Indians today by the film industry, vision in movie reruns, and also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
So when Hitler says about make it an Aryan race,
and all of that is nonsense, because the Aryans come from the Asians.
Exactly.
If you go and study enough, you can't. They said that whole Aryan race thing is impossible, because you have to wash a bag of black people out to get there.
Can't do that.
And that's why they say what was her name? The president's wife, the ex-president, said, I did not have relations with that woman.
Please.
His wife caused us rats. We breed like rats.
Yeah.
Black people. So I would put, if I put myself in their shoes, I did say, if I'd had this crazy plan that, let's just wash them out. That's what we'll do. We'll kill them, because remember, they've documented everything. They've killed billions. Right? Let's shag them out.
Please.
I showed you the American woman in Vietnam with all the babies in the taxi.
Yeah, that's just
to take to America.
So gross, like it's so grotesque. And you know what really confuses me is that how you can sit there as a human.
I don't think they've got any souls, and this is why I keep.
I see all the babies, and you're talking about you can fit more in
she's
the floor.
If she's like that in a taxi, how's she gonna be on the aeroplane? Then kids must have been flying in the air.
Saying. No safety precautions going on. Just kill them black youths, because we ain't got time for that.
At this point, that whole response that it's not about race is redundant. At this point,
it is.
Even I'm flabbergasted at the behaviour. And at this point, you better be claiming for your own goodwill.
For your
you
safety.
better be claiming that you're a spicy white.
Wind up your body, make me video team fit. The bed in the room, but no ask about it. I just say, me and the young girl sit down on it.
That's what I'm saying.
At this point, if you're not claiming that you're spicy white, you're in problems.
In another part of the village, we see one of the girls fixing the hair of Lady Chief of the village. This is another little baby of Tutu. And the paddle I'm trading here with these bushmen.
Because this here kind of white man now.
Yeah.
And like I've said, who comes under white is Iranians.
Arabs.
The Chinese came under white. The American Indians came under white. The Vietnamese came under white. The tri-racial group we told you about came under white. Everybody that wasn't black came under white. But then after a while,
they had to
everybody, so they call the black races, not all of them. I'm going to read some things to you. Savage because they would die hard protecting their land, whereas as time's gone on, they haven't fought so much. They've fought, but guess what they were getting? Head rights.
Yeah.
The tribe I'm going to talk about today, to this very day, first of all, the information about them says they were killed off, and that there's no more of them left. So then why are people still getting money then? Why? And it says what they look like, but when you look at the people who are apparently the ancestors, they look nothing remotely like what's written or drawn about them.
Try again.
And what I'd like to say is, for all these people that like to claim that they pray for their ancestors and they respect their ancestors, see me here, I'm your ancestor.
Oyana Indians are the Indians who live further up the river, and they have long hair, men and women alike, and we are trying to see whether we can get permission to get up further into that country and have them guide us.
And I don't remember you giving one little even glance at Aboriginal Indians. Look at me good. Go and read all the information on Indians. Tell me I'm not one. And also that whole comment they used to like to make with all black people look the same clearly is not the truth, because all of these travellers that went everywhere, that wrote down and measured our craniums, said that we look different. Try again. And so at this point, the reason why we're talking about everything is connected now. Kanye, I didn't know we were already going to do this, but Eden said to me, Kanye's been at it again. But but what he has to say correlates with what we're saying today. Let me take it over, Eden. What did he say?
Yeah, so Kanye's going on a rant. If you haven't seen it already,
He's been locked out of his Twitter account now. The platform suspending him after an anti-Semitic tweet. That tweet said, quote, "When I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." His tweet continued saying, quote, "The funny thing is I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew."
have seen that he's been going on a rant and cussing out the Jews and saying how P. Diddy is I think he's used or he's owned by the Jewish people.
Right, we didn't know that.
And then Mark Zuckerberg blocked him off, banned him off Instagram, and then he just got banned off Twitter. So he's saying, oh, so what, am I cancelled again? I'm cancelled again. And then he said, also, everyone that's calling me anti-Semitic, you can't call me that because I'm a Jew and black people are Jews, if you didn't know.
And we're going to prove that today. And guess what? How we're going to prove it?
Please.
With your Voyager's writings. You see,
you're not documented everything. That's where
you went wrong. You flopped hard.
And you put your name on it as well, so we know who to come to.
You know who to come to.
Run the bread.
Run it. And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Every quarter of the year, this tribe I'm talking about that no longer exists, but people are getting money. Every quarter of the year they get money because of this tribe is called the Mineral Council. Because America is full of resources, gold, vibranium, all kind of things that you didn't know America had, right? They still get money because of the oil. It's oil. America has oil, by the way.
3. The Diavik Diamond Mine. In case you were thinking all the big mines were found in Africa, think again. The Diavik Diamond Mine is found in the Northwest Territories of Canada, and it's one of the largest producers of diamonds in the Northern Hemisphere. They annually produce 7 million carats of diamonds each year, found north of the Arctic Circle, and it's
And this, go look them up. We will tell you, go look them up and look at them all line up, sat down, looking like a bag of potatoes.
Please.
Not one of them looks like their ancestor.
Bag of potatoes, you know.
You know, you guys have got, you know what, it's one of these, at this point, you're destroying your own selves. I'm telling you, we don't even need to do anything now because our ancestors are speaking up for us and your ancestors are speaking up for us because you documented everything in books. Silly wallies.
It's the fact that they give us like 1 month out of the year
for Black history, and every part of history was about us anyway. Right. Every single last part.
So That's what they're scared of. You want to give us one, you'd say, look what we gave you. No.
No, blood. You owe us. You owe us centuries now.
Bag. I'm not saying run it.
You actually took the piss. You took the piss.
And saying white people ain't changed, you know. They love doing this I invented, like when Haley Baldwin come with the I invented the brown lick gal thing.
Please, I was doing that at 16 years old. I was doing that, and she weren't born. So shut up, Haley, idiot Bieber, idiot gal. None of you can chat to me. Anyway,
spicy white.
Let's start. And for anybody this is their first experience with our channel, not racist. We're just truthful, and if the truth hurts, then you know what to do. Leave, innit?
Get out.
So, as I've mentioned, the main character that's messed you lot up is St. James the Great. James the Great comes by many names. I wondered if he was King James, and I was like, he can't be, which he doesn't seem like he is. But the reason why I questioned it is because often one person has got a bag of names.
AKA.
And I'm actually wondering if he's Columbus as well. Sounds a bit far-fetched, but every time I look something up, he's there.
Coming up, yeah.
He's there, and it's to do with Columbus. Anywho, James the Great, also known as James, son of Zebedee. Wait till you see what I'm about to say to you. St. James the Great, St. James the Greater, St. James the Elder, or St. Jacob. Let me let that resonate for a minute.
How do you get from James to Jacob?
Okay, good question. In Aramaic or Arabic, Hebrew, his name is Yakub. Now I said to Eden, you know when you already know, but you have to ask a couple of times and check again. I said, his name's Yakub. But we all know the story about Yakub, and Yakub wanted to create a new race. The Muslims say he wanted to create, that's one of the stories, or black Muslims, if you want to call it that. Yeah, the whole story, yeah? And then in Christianity, Yakub is, because it also means Jacob.
Yeah, of course.
In Latin. Which is, same, but Jacob, translated. So I said, hang on a minute. St. James is Yakub, is Jacob, as in Jacob and Esau, as in stole the birthright. I said, hang on.
Then you look at the calendars again.
But I said, isn't James and John brothers? In the Bible, in the Christian Bible, it says that James and John are brothers. They're also part of the disciples. I just would like to say, you Christians, which I have been a part of, because my granddad was a bishop and Christianity was my whole life, whether I liked it or not. You say that you read the infallible word of God.
It's not.
And I've been asking you for a long time, for many years, for decades, which God?
Please.
And every time I chat, people look at me like I'm stupid.
And then you take the King James Bible to worship in the devil house.
Right. We still. I don't think it's licked you yet, but it's gonna lick you.
Please.
Watch now. So with St. James in the Bible is the brother of John and their disciples. Then I said, well, didn't they say Jesus was his brother? So then it showed me. I said, but okay, if we go by this Bible thing, yeah, Jesus' mother is Mary, isn't it? Right? She's supposed to be a virgin. So I looked it up, and then Mary came up and it said she was a young girl who married her father-in-law's brother.
Please.
And she was called Mary the dancer. Apparently she danced for the king and he gave her what she wanted.
Prosy.
I don't know, because remember there could just be Mar in her name. But either way, she's a young girl and you let her marry your big kiss me ass brother.
Sus.
Right? So that's sus from the get-go. But as we go on, it might make more sense to you, because it's starting to make very much sense to me. So I said, well, if that's the case, and all three of them are brothers, but they've got different mums, and all their mums are Mary, and then I looked and I came across 3 Marys, and their mother was Saint Anne. Now, Saint Anne and Saint James were a king, and Saint Anne was his wife.
No.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know, when you get into this story, it's like something's not making sense. It's like they're using analogies, because you said to me, you went 3 Marys, and then what did you say?
Like the Holy Trinity.
And say 3 Hail Marys. Say 3
Hail
Hail Marys.
Yeah, please.
So they're telling you it's about the Catholic faith.
Rebuke.
So you got to read between the lines.
James, John, and Jesus get out.
Right.
They're taking the piss 10, 10, 10. You know, it's the 10th letter in there. Yeah, that's
right. So wait. So my brain went. I mean, it's common sense, but my brain still went, So if James, John, Jesus are brothers, who's the dad? The dad is Zebedee. Okay. Are you ready for who Zebedee is?
But who's Jesus' dad?
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying to you something doesn't make sense. So I said, okay then, all right. If that's the case,
on the basic level though, come on. If you say Jesus is the Son of God, right?
That's what I said to you. I said, well, if Jesus is the Son of God, then who's the dad? The dad is Zebedee. Well, watch this one.
Who's Zebedee?
For all you die-hard Christians that refuse to look into anything else and make sure that your Bible makes sense, knowing that you're products of slavery, and the slave master gave you the Bible, then you ain't got no sense.
Long day.
Right? So I put in Zebedee, and when they do this thing live, you get me?
Live, you get me?
You get me, you know? Okay. So straight away, what comes up? Father of James and John, 2 disciples of Jesus. Disciples. Okay. So there is a picture. I mean, these lot look broke up from. The mum looks bent up. But anywho, they all look bent up to me. Let me tell you what Zebedee's name means. Are you ready? It means, the name is given in the Gospel of Zebediah. Is probably a transliteration of a Hebrew name, Zebediah. These are all spelled in different ways. Tsipros Zodhitis, which we know sounds what? Like Yahya said she was a Jew, but German. Yahya was white, German, but these Germans are German Jews are on some different thing, because it then says, or the truncated version of Zabdi, says BDB, Theological Dictionary, and so means Yahweh.
In the bin.
So,
when you told me this, I was like, no.
So I'm going to say it again. St. James, who is the patron saint of Spain, who also, if you go and look at Jamaica and what they did, St. James, he has a parish.
No.
He does?
Yes, I know, but now I'm saying no to it.
He has a parish.
You have Saint Anne, Saint Elizabeth.
Right.
This is a joke.
And you lot didn't clock it. St. James is the son of Zebedee in the Bible. And Zebedee, remember, if he's the son of God and his brother is Jesus, the son of God is who? Yahweh. St. James, who kills all the indigenous people, his dad is God. So who's your God? So when I did that song, you probably thought, why she's singing this dry church sounding song? You know, people didn't understand. I was trying to ask you a question and wake you up.
Okay,
But
don't
people,
do that.
but people be sleeping.
can't be doing
I'm so
that.
bored of people. This is why people say, "Aren't you singing? Why are you doing that? Why are you talking?" Because you're dumb as heck.
You
I
can't.
don't have the
You
patience.
can't do that.
Yes, I can.
You can't.
I can do that.
You can't do that.
You know what? So,
Please.
some of you have the ability to read, and the ones that do, then
Good on you.
the ones that have the ability to read and didn't,
Oh, okay.
they don't.
Yeah, because people aren't inquisitive. They're not.
What?
Really...
So you are out here Bible bashing,
Yeah.
and
don't
you didn't
know how
go to
read
check.
the Bible.
You didn't go and check that what your. So basically, you've been venerating slave
Somebody
masters.
else's- yeah.
You've been venerating these people who say to you that to pray to or think about or to venerate your ancestors is what do you call it?
Witchcraft.
Let's call it witchcraft. It's not necromancy. Yeah, it might be that. But anyway, witchcraft. I've been doing this every year. Every time they celebrate, we have Remembrance Day and things like that. What do you think that is then? They've got a whole wall with names of everyone that fought in these wars.
Fallen.
And these wars were what? Ethnic cleansing. That's what they told us about the Circassian War. Didn't they say it was ethnic cleansing? Okay. Let's move along. I'm gonna let that sink in because I'm sure some people still ain't got it yet. The saints you've been celebrating killed off your people. I'm not saying that your religion is wrong, but what I am saying is
Read.
the version you've got is being altered, and they've put themselves in the Bible. I've been telling you this over and over again. So everybody that's out here saying we're the Israelites, well then you're St. James's brethren, then aren't you? In this Bible, you're St. James's brethren. That whole story is about them going around doing what they did. So you might say you're the original, but that story ain't got nothing to do with you apart from the fact that you were the slave in it all.
Furthermore, where is the original Bible? Please.
Because
that really could end everything. They've ripped pages out and burnt it, and then they're giving you the half-ass version that's been transliterated, over 1,000 times, and you think I'm gonna follow it every day.
I just don't have the patience to anyway. So as for that book that we keep mentioning, the Aboriginal Race of America, now it all ties in. This is what I'm trying to say to you. These books, if you go and read them, you can find out a lot of stuff about your Bible. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of these things that they're talking about was about their voyages, about the voyages to certain countries. Mm-hmm. When you read these books, you're going to go, oh my God, I cannot believe I just didn't see it.
They're crafty.
Right? So, who's that book written by? That would help, wouldn't it? The book is written by, let's see, Samuel George Morton in 1844. When did they say that their creation started?
What, 12? 1965. So this is just before it. Well, not just, but
And the reason why, I think, because that's when they fully established their place. They've done all the killing they needed to do to establish themselves, and the raping and the stealing. There's enough time. Winston Churchill apparently had died.
Yes.
Right. Okay. You guys, you gotta join the dots. And I'm sorry if I sound harsh, but it's just boring. It's boring that people don't listen. That people are just so sleepy.
Just take whatever, the government or your king or whoever's ruling
Annoying.
has given to you, and then you wonder why you're not free. How can you be free if you're not opening your third eye? Reading, please.
So I'll read you a little bit from the book, in different parts. So in the beginning it says, ethnography, the analysis and the classification of the races of men. Even that title
First
alone,
statement.
remember they called us the sons of men. So we're the men, because they said we weren't the same as them, and you guys are the sons of men. Ooh wee! So there's your first Bible reference there. I'll continue. Is essentially a modern science. At a time when nature in her other departments have been investigated with equal zeal and success, this alone remained comparatively neglected. And of the various authors who have attempted its exposition during the past and present centuries, too many have been content with closet theories in which facts are perverted to sustain some baseless conjecture. Oh, I like this person already. Hence, it has been aptly remarked that Asia is the country of fables, Africa of monsters, and America of systems. To those who prefer hypothesis to truth, so he said people like to make up stories. So already, this person's of sound mind. Okay? Alright, Samuel, come on, bad boy. So he says, the intellectual genius of antiquity justly excites our admiration and homage. So the giving homage to. But in vain we search its records for the physical traits of some of the most celebrated nations of past time. Ancient. It is even yet gravely disputed whether the ancient Egyptians belonged to the Caucasian race. No, not even saying shh.
Okay.
Just let them think. This is why they were confused and were saying that they were Egyptians. Sorry, but everything you believe about yourself is a lie.
Lies.
And black people say it too, so you've got it wrong too. Or the Negro, which is the African. Like I say, they keep changing titles as we go along. You know, they call us different things.
And now we're Negroes again.
Are we?
I don't know.
Okay. So anywho, everyone's a Negro now if you're black, In it. And was it not for the light which now dawns upon us from the monuments? If it were not for the light, let me read it properly. And was it not for the light which now dawns upon us from the monuments and their tombs, this question might remain forever undecided. The present age, however, is marked by a noble zeal for these inquiries, which are daily making more conversant with the organic structure, the mental character, and the national affinities of the various and widely scattered tribes of the human family. What did it say? So the slaves, the American Indians, the Vietnamese, the Mongolians, all of you of today. What did it say? The widely scattered tribes of the human family. Scattered. So what were we called? Of men. What are you called? Sons. Of humans. It's not us, so you're the sons of men.
Please.
All right, come church, start. Right. Among these aboriginal inhabitants of America claim our special attention. This vast theatre has been thronged from immemorial time, ancient time, by numberless tribes which lived only to destroy, hallelujah, and in being turned destroyed without leaving a trace. Sounds like slavery to me. Please. Sounds like all the children that came after us and sat down in pictures with the white man, the daddies. Okay.
Pocket man.
So, distinctive characteristics of the Americans. So let me cut some out so to save you. Okay. It is not my present intention even to enumerate the many theories which have been advanced in reference to origin of the American nations, although I may in sequel inquire whether the genealogy can be traced to the Polynesians or the Mongolians, the Hindus, Jews, or Egyptians. Nor shall I attempt to analyze the views of certain philosophers who imagine that they have found not only a variety of races, but several species. The species, you know, of men. Men, didn't say humans, it said men. Do you get us now? among the Aborigines of this continent. So America was what? A continent. I've been saying this to you. It is chiefly my intention to produce a few of more strikingly characteristics traits of these people to sustain the position that all the American nations, excepting the Eskimo, are of one race, and that this race is peculiar and distinct from all others.
So y'all are the kids.
So what's the Bible verse about real peculiar people? We'll put that up on the screen. So once again, a Bible reference. So I go on again.
Samuel's beasting.
Right, are you ready? Are you ready? Let me take it from. So, he's basically saying, it is an adage among travellers that he who has seen one tribe of Indians has seen all. So much do the individuals of this race resemble each other, notwithstanding their immense geographical distribution and those differences of climate which embrace the extremes of heat and cold. The half-clad Fuegan, shrinking from his dreary winter, has the same characteristic lineaments, though in an exaggerated degree, as the Indians of the tropical plains, and these are again resemble the tribes which inhabit the region west of Rocky Mountains, those of the Great Valley of the Mississippi. Now, this is the tribe I've been telling you about. So once again, this tribe is going to be the tribe that makes you realise what the Bible's been talking about all this time.
And you know what I've noticed here? With things like this, they seem to come back up. Like, at the moment, you've got shows that are speaking on Mississippi, etc.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Mississippi is coming up at the moment. But, like, how much turmoil has Mississippi gone through?
Yeah, a lot.
And all the hurricanes and, like, gang killings and all sorts. They know what they're doing. Their plan is to destroy states so that people can't find their history, wake up and stand together, because they know it's mainly black people and that's their ghetto.
Yeah, keep going.
Mississippi is like the proper hood.
Right.
So they know,
I'm glad you
okay,
said
let's
that.
make these people stupid. Let's make sure you don't have education. Let's make sure you don't have hospital care. You can't afford to pay for it. And we're just going to throw drugs at you and all sorts of foolishness and guns. And make sure you don't ever make it out alive, basically.
You see, you know how poignant what you're saying is, especially when you now read these books. Anybody that says this ain't about colour, you are bugging.
They know how to match
You
us
are
up.
straight bugging. At this point, it's embarrassingly obvious what was happening. Right?
They know what they're doing.
And I'd like to say that these people that I'm reading from are white people. I just want to say that. So it's not Afrocentric. Oh, they're just being black. Right? So, it says, it cannot be questioned that physical diversities do occur, equally singular and inexplicable, as seen in different shades of colour, varying from a fair tint to a complexion almost black. So we came in lots of, and this is why I said to you, all of you guys that like to say that you're in America and you say, oh, I'm not black. Well, these people are saying that we're all the same people. Now I know I'm not white, even though there's a little sprinkle in there. And if you're saying from the fair with a tint, spicy white we call them, right, to almost black are the same people, then you need to make up your mind that either you are the sons and daughters of the slave masters, the Europeans, or you're spicy white and basically you're black. Some of you white people need to be claiming strong now. Other than I'm saying, I've got 1% African in me. Yeah, man.
Them ones are funny.
Because at this point, you better pick a side, bro.
Seriously.
Okay. Are you ready?
Ain't got no more space.
Right. So, equally inexplicable as seen in different shades of colour, varying from fair tint to a complexion almost black. And this too under circumstances in which climate can have little or no influence. So you could be somewhere close. All that talk that black people were spreading, these renowned black people that are respected, talk about, oh, the black people that went to England became white. I am born in that place and I have never been white once in my life. Yes. I never. Did you? You're in England now. Do you ever turn white?
Sometimes on the weekends, you know.
Idiots, man. Absolute. I don't see why I should respect you because you're not chatting sense.
I turn white when the cops come.
You're not chatting any bloody sense, man. Anywho, so also in reference to stature, the difference are remarkable in entire tribes, which moreover are geographically proximate to each other. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy. How the heck? Physiognomy. Said that about 10 times. What was it?
Like,
Beninging of the Indian.
Wow.
So the Indian, because I heard another channel, and I do actually respect the channel, say that all the Americans are mixed race, which is just rude, and they were African.
Again.
They were African.
Try again.
No.
Like, get your facts straight before you start chatting.
And also calling anyway. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. I don't want to go too hard.
Furthermore, so what about the Brazilians then?
They're called Brazilian Indians.
No, but I'm saying but what I'm saying, what you said previously about people in the UK, if you're black, you've turned white. What about Brazil? Like, we have, I know there was a lot of mixing.
But this is what they're saying, that even in each tribe there were still people of different complexions.
Yeah, exactly. So
the Indian is just different, just like they're different from the Australian or the New Zealand. They look completely. So all this stuff about, well, we all look the same is nonsense. We do not. And then there was, like I said to you, there was a woman complaining because I think she's that black girl that calls herself Afro-Latina. She's dark skinned. It might be her. And she was saying, we're not the same as you. I mean, I didn't like her delivery. I think she was being snooty because I don't think just because you're African or you're from New Zealand or you're from Australia or you're from the England, because we know that we were from there too, that you're any lesser.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all. I just feel like, and even that person saying that she's Afro-Latin, these terminologies that you use, when you're saying that,
that's the white man giving you
you're saying that you're mixed race. If you're saying you're Afro-Latina, you're saying you're mixed race, you're not Afro-Latina. These people came and said you are all the same people, you are black and you are Indian.
But no one wants
people don't understand what they're saying because they don't read, they don't understand, they don't go and look up the word, they don't go and look at the ethnology of things. They got no clue. So you guys have got to decide. All of this colonialism is confused you.
You know what I've always hated that from a kid, especially like in forms where you have to say like, what are you? Are you? And they don't really give you much of a vast.
You know what I do? I take all of them.
I put other.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I do all of them, and then they look at me confused, and I just go like that.
That's what I'm saying. Because why are you
don't
telling me why I am?
I'm all of them. I'm the mother of all. Shut up.
All
right then. So anyway, I've got no manners, by the way. So these facts. Where did I get to? All right, let me move on. Right?
Everybody's Indian.
Let me move on. Just to say one more thing now. Are you ready?
Then Brazil's all messed up.
Right.
Look at it.
The observations of Molina and Humboldt, which must be other people like Samuel, are sometimes quoted in disproof of this pervading uniformity of physical characters. Molina says that the difference between an inhabitant of Chile and a Peruvian is not less than between an Italian and a German. Basically, they're the same people. That's what she's saying. They're just the same, right? To which Humboldt adds that the American race contains nations whose features differ as essentially from one another as those of the Circassians, Moors, and Persians. But all these people are of one and the same race and readily recognized as such, notwithstanding their differences of feature and complexion, and the American nations present a precisely parallel case. So if you are Jamaican, you're an Indian. So when we're coming up and people saying, I'm Jamaican Indian, no, you're Indian Jamaican. There is a difference. The Jamaican is the Indian.
Yeah.
The Jamaican is the Indian. The Jamaican is the Indian. The Brazilian is the Indian, and all surrounding areas. The Puerto Rican is the Indian, unless you've been washed out.
But this is the thing, if your mindset or how you've lived for how long is all whitewashed, you're just going to go with, yeah, the white man told me this way.
Right. The North and South of America, excluding the Eskimos, and the reason why they said that because they kept washing them out. I told you, they travelled from places, they took babies here. We showed you the taxi picture. The Americans came and they shoved you around the place. So by the time you got there, in your hamlet, which is called an igloo, and there's even a place on the map, go and look up the world map near Canada, and it's called Igloo. That's where they put you when you were already washed out. Triracial, sub-Saharan. There is another one. So everybody now needs to understand that the Russians, the original Russians, were black. How do you feel about that? So everybody that said we didn't have a culture, you're walking around in our clothing, you're walking around in our with our religions, which you've probably slightly changed up. You know, you're eating our dishes, which probably don't have seasoning on, so it's all right. And you're walking around with our culture.
And then you want to kill off black people when we touch down. It's cool. You will reap your karma.
This is what I'm saying, like, you know, that there's been this fear that what will happen is that the black people will retaliate, but we won't have to, because the thing is, you're destroying yourselves anyway. There was one more thing that I want to... So, there is another thing. There is another part. It says, it was also observed that the flattened skulls, uniformly those of men, while those of women remained unaltered. And again, that the most elongated heads were preserved in the largest and finest tombs, showing that this cranial deformity was a mark of distinction. But to do away with any remaining doubt on this subject, M. de Albigny ascertained that the descendants of these ancient Peruvians yet inhabit a land of their ancestors and bear the name of the Aramayas, which may have been their primitive designation. And lastly, the modern Aramayas resemble the common Quichua and the Peruvian Indians in everything that they relate to physical conformation, not even excepting the head, which, however, they have ceased to mould artificially. Submitted to the same anatomical test, the reputed giant and the dwarf races of America proved to be mere inventions of ignorance or imposition. Thus it is that American Indian, from the southern extremities of the continent to the northern limit of his range, is the same exterior man. Did you hear that? Everybody that's basically in the northern parts of Africa, are you all mixed race? So all you Berbers, you know, all of you, what you now would call Egypt, all of you who are the Moroccans, says you're all mixed race.
Well, they're not wrong.
So it is official since 18 when that America, North and South, and all of its surrounding areas, that everybody is black. So anybody saying at this point that they're not black, all of these Karens that went around saying where are you from and who are you and what are you doing here? I think the question you need to ask yourself is, where are you from?
Miss Ma'am.
At this point.
They're cheeky, you know.
And so...
Because when we ask you what's your history, just pillaging and raping people and killing and stealing.
We're not fooled now. The jig was up long time ago, but you see, niggas can read.
No, they can't. They purposely make sure they can't read.
And all of that saying that they like to say we didn't have a language. And that's another thing they talk about. The civilized Indian and the uncivilized, the savage. Now, when you read further, even in this book, the reason why they're called, like the Missouri tribe, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, savages, is because they wouldn't...
give the land up.
Apparently they said they had this look on their face where you couldn't work out what they were thinking. And they were very resistant to Europeans coming on their land. They would go on nega. And so it makes me say, okay, so basically the foundation of calling some of these Indians savage wasn't just about intelligence. It was for the fact that they weren't placating to your charms.
Agenda.
They weren't placating, and the civilized ones did. And then what happened to us? So be uncivilized.
Yeah, I was just
be a savage. If that's what if like being protective over your land makes you a savage, then be a savage. And this is what I'm trying to say as well.
But then you got the Jews saying this is my land and God gave it.
Well, clearly it's not, because your own people are writing books saying it's not.
Exactly.
You know, and then there's the pictures of Prince Philip Maximilian, who went round with his Carl something or other, and he drew this same tribe. Now, when it talks about this tribe, it's going to make perfect sense that this Bible you've been reading is from America, that the tribe they're talking about, when it says don't cut the corners of your head, and all the church people are crying, oh, God doesn't want you to cut your head. Oh, if you wear makeup, God doesn't like it. It's Jezebel's spirit. When you understand this tribe, you're going to feel really daft. You're going to feel so daft. I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't relevant now, but that's not what the Bible was talking about. He was telling you not to copy. It was telling the new Indian not to be like the previous one, which was the black man, the black woman, because they were the new creation. They were Genesis. So this tribe, you can go and read it yourself. I'll put it up on the screen. So I'll read a little bit for you. It was during the Mississippian period that the construction of permanent villages became widespread. Far from the earlier random scatterings of huts, some towns grew quite large and were fortified against incursion. And as with the Indian cultures to the south and west, these towns contained temples. I showed you one in our last. It's called the Baha'i Temple of Worship. That's actually in America.
Yeah.
It
won't show you that.
It looked Chinese, but it's from America. So temples, plazas, and celestial observatories. By the 13th and 14th centuries, however, these communities began to decline and disperse. In time, two indigenous groups emerged, bringing with them their own customs and technology. And did you hear that? Remember, they said that America was about systems. What they say? Asia, fables. Africa, monsters. America, systems.
Belief system.
No, they had proper systems and structures. Everything.
Well, yeah.
Remember, that's another thing I need to...
I'm saying for now.
Yeah, but that's another thing I need to remind you of, is that America was called Egypt. And it was on the Mother Ethiopia. So when they're talking about Egyptian spirituality, put it this way, the ibis, with all these Egyptian writings, they have the ibis bird all the time. As a human, the ibis is a bird that's only from America. So how could it be African spirituality?
Please.
I'm sorry to be so harsh, but you know what? Like I said, there was a lot of this going around and having war with each other. So it didn't just start with the white man. But it doesn't change the fact that everybody has had a chunk of Indian heritage to the point where India of today, which is actually was called British India, and the Hindus with double O and an S, we'll put somebody up. This Hindu looks like a black man, doesn't he? And apparently he was from the Bengali, which is why they went for a long time where they were hated.
Yeah, for being
too black, because they were dark, and that is why the India of today is so obsessed with being white skinned, because they're the British, they're the British India.
Big on bleaching them,
right?
Please.
So, and they're the same people over here in the UK that like to tell me we don't have a culture. You're cheeky. So everything you're wearing and doing is our culture as well. It's funny that we haven't been able to speak our languages, wear our clothing, or even say we're Indian. But every one of these books says the Indian was the black man and the black woman. I think there's some apologies that need to be said, you know. Either that or you stop troubling black people, and that's another thing.
Yeah, they're always gonna trouble us.
You know what? That video of the boy that was just harassed by the police in the UK,
for touching his pocket.
You could see that his whole soul was just gone out of him. Like, now it's a crime to touch your pocket. Don't you touch your pocket for change to get on the bus?
I would be doing this.
Just nonsense. Don't old women stop and touch their pockets in their little rain max?
No, you can't be doing that because we muck it.
But my thing is, people are so obsessed with buying your kids trainers, your black kids trainers. You're obsessed with them getting the new shoes. If you would sit down and show them this and show them who they are, people wouldn't be able to touch them because they'd walk with so much confidence that they'd know what the game is. Do you know what I mean? If people just...
And they're coming for the children that is getting younger and younger
it's
now.
Upsetting.
Like, they know what they're doing, and the fact that they'll smile because they know, okay, these people, they don't understand the ways of the law. They don't know how to articulate themselves or how the laws have been articulated so that we don't get it. They know this. No normal common person.
But it's free to read. This is what I'm saying.
Free. That's what I'm saying. It's free to read, but they know what they're doing.
Yes, but I'm saying, you know what? I'm going to be what's the word? It's provocative. Kanye West, he says a lot of things, and if you ask Eden, I say, well, you know what? I kind of understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I be agreeing with him. He's not.
When he said black people have had a choice in slavery, right? Okay. I said I kind of understand now why that applies. Maybe not so much then, because if people come in and gunning you down,
exactly,
and raping you, what can you really do? But at this point, when this type of information is readily available, and the book I told you about by Prince Maximilian's artist, you have to go to. But you have to be part of a university or something like that to access it online. They want all your details. But for them to be hiding this so badly, because they only give you one.
They just want to know where you stay.
They give you one Indian who is black, but he looks a certain way, and they say actually he's mixed out by now. He's still dark. Because that's another thing now. People are starting to try to say that Amanda America is African American. How do you say she's African American and then put her white dad there? Make any sense to you? Does it make any sense? Yeah. And her mum was from America and she was black. But either way, now you know all the Americans were black. So keep on. Carry on, do what you're doing. Anywho, what I'm saying is you can either go, this book is available in St. Pancras Library, a library up there. But look how far they're going for you not to read this information. You must understand that it's for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I'm saying is,
but standard person's
but in regards to what Kanye is saying, nobody is preventing you from freeing yourself.
Yeah, facts.
You are the person that should be educating your children. Our parents did with the knowledge they had. Do you understand what I'm saying? And furthermore, when your granny was telling you that there was Indian in you, she was telling you the truth the whole time. But you were looking at it from colonialized eyes, and you were saying, well, oh, I must come from the British Indian man, the Pakistani man. You didn't realize that you were already the Indian. So your grandma was telling you the truth. Yeah? And all I'm saying is, people need to stop acting like the white man, the Arab man. You have information.
Right.
You've got a phone in your hand. Why don't you type the book in and go and read it? It's that flipping easy. Do you know what I mean? Anywho, in regards to this tribe, they were called, one group called itself Wasazi, children of the middle waters. I'm just going to remember, they said this, what's the story about creation? They said that they came from the waters, didn't they? The land that arose from the waters. Well, this is Wasazi. This is the tribe, the biblical tribe, the tribe of creation the land that came out of the waters, right? The name was, however, mispronounced by the French explorer Etienne Bergamont, but he said it was they called them the Homage. It was the finest country and the most wonderful land in the world. This is what he says.
It's the sound that makes them jump. The silver carp are the jumpers.
Asian carp are an invasive fish.
There's one in the boat.
The prairies are like the seas and filled with wild animals in such quantities as to surpass the imagination. Beautiful.
What do you do? Go and mash it up.
Right.
Rubbish.
And so, also, in 1833 to 1834, this is when Carl Baldemer painted them. But even then, he says that they were a decimated tribe. So as much as they were dark still, they were mixed race. At this point, they were still mixed, they'd been mixed out, right? Anyway, everybody said they were decimated by disease and massacre and absorbed into other tribal groups, including the Otto and the Ponca. Yeah? Anywho, so it describes that the Osage descended from heaven to create life on the sacred one earth. I keep going. It says that the Missouri were highly spiritual people who worshipped a single deity, Maun, M-A-U-N, the Earthmaker or Creator. Theirs was a clan-based society, with each clan springing from a benevolent spirit animal related to the creation of the world. As with the Osage, each village was built upon an east-west pattern and divided into the sky and earth people. Now remember when I told you I kept going back to the story of creation, and it talks about Ankh and Anu and Ankh, which is anarchy. Yeah, these people. Yeah. So these are the earth and sky people. Funny, the story's the same. Right? Dickey explains that this reflected the Missouri's belief in the duality and balance in the universe. Natural events and behaviours occurred in pairs: night and day, winter and summer, earth and sky, life and death. A wide street separated the various clan groups. The chief lodge sat in the middle. The street ran east to the west. What did he talk about? The waters ran from the east to the west of the garden, in the Garden of Eden. This is the same story, right? The street ran east to west through the centre of the village, laid out to follow the path of the sun, the giver of life. The rising sun brought a new day and then symbolically life. As it travelled a path to the west, the setting sun symbolised day's end, and with it death, a crossing to the other side. This was the path of life that all must travel, and it was a constant reminder to the Osage of their mortality before Wakanda, the Creator.
Wakanda forever. Please.
At this point, I think you need to give the American, the American, the Mariah, some respect. Because we've been told that we've come out of Africa so many times, all this time, and I've been saying to you, this was a story that the white man, the European, gave to you so that they could keep pillaging your land. That's the only reason why you did it. And all of the evidence is before you. So all of these American Indians trying to disclaim, oh no, dispute that we existed. You want to know what an Indian looks like? Hi, Jamaican, Barbadian, Brazilian, Cuban. We can keep going on. What's at the top?
The Mexicans are the mixed youths.
Now they are, and that's when I went to Mexico. Now it makes sense. When I went to Mexico, you know, I've got the picture of me and Alicia in Chichen Itza. That was a picture that actually the tour guide took of us. He took us one side and said to me, "This is yours." I was like, "Huh?" He said, "This is yours." And that time, you know, with us, sometimes we wear our hair curly, sometimes we wear it like today. I was wearing it straight in a pony, and he said, and you know, Alicia already had hair that everyone thought was a wig. He said, "This is you. This is you." He goes, "I've seen the books." Because he's a tour guide who takes you to Chichen Itza. He says, "I've seen the precious books." He said, "This is your people." And I was like, "Rick, what?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You see me, I'm short and squatchy." He said, "But the English Europeans came in and they liked the English boys and some of them us at all." He said, "But this is all yours." And I was so taken aback by what he said. And then we went to the mall with a few girls. And this older woman, short, she was coming after us with her daughter, I would say, and her grandchild, and she said, please, and she was going like, I was thinking, what the heck's going on? And then she said, could I take a picture with her? Her English wasn't very good. I couldn't really converse with her, but I just said okay, and I held her child and I stood next to her, and she got her daughter, or one of us, to take the picture. And my cousin said, who did she think you are, famous? I said, maybe, I don't know. But I just obliged her and took the picture, and I realised it's because they know who we are. They all know who we are. How do you measure people's heads and all of that stuff and you don't know who we are? It's us that doesn't know. So who is the Jew? Well, I just showed you that. At the end of the day, you might look at Kanye as a madman and he might not have all the pieces together, but at least he's flipping thinking somewhat. The rest of you are just... and this is the same thing, and I'd like to give him some homage. Old Dirty, he was laughed to scorn about who he was. And also I would say, he said he was a shin rock. With the shin rocks to say, if your hair's red, like mine is, but you can't see it in this light, then you're probably from the shin rocks. So all you gingers, the reason why, my mum told me this years ago, why gingers used to get picked on is because it showed that you got black in you. And I'm done. Peace out.
We leave this little town of Assisi and we are hitting some very fierce rapids now. The Oyana Indians are the Indians who live further up the river, and they have long hair, men and women alike, and we are trying to see whether we can get permission to get up further into that country and have them guide us.